The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
It's a birthday party, and you're invited to stick around. GUNTALK turns 20 today, and Tom has brought back some voices from the past that you may recognize to talk about the changes in firearms, gun rights, and the growth of the shooting sports over 2 decades. Now, once again, Tom Gresham.
Oh, yes. Wow, 3 hours of this. We have so much fun I have people that say, why don't you just do this daily? Well, that would be fun, too. But no, we have some other things we do. We produce TV shows, too. Well, of course, they're about guns and shooting, so it's all fun. I just noticed, this is kind of fun. A few years ago, I'd started doing a Twitter feed because I didn't know why, because I didn't even know what it was, and it sounded silly. And I wasn't going to do things like, hey, I'm at Walmart. Hey, I had eggs for breakfast. That's not my style, okay? But what I do on the Twitter feed, my Twitter account, it's at GUNTALK if you want to follow me on Twitter, is I put out news stories. Basically, I feed people information on what's going on, stories about self-defense with guns, just anything that has to do with the guns or gun rights or new guns, it's all there. So if you want to be informed, you want to know what's going on, get the stories that you can then forward to your friends and let them know about it, then all you have to do is just go to Twitter and you follow me there. It's really easy. Just look for GUNTALK there. But I just happened to notice as we're rolling into the 20th anniversary show, we just rolled over the 20,000 number of followers on Twitter. I thought, well, that's kind of a cool thing for just being an afterthought, really. The Twitter has just worked out very well. It's a great way to send links. Basically, just here's a story about somebody who used a gun in self-defense. Here's a story about a lady shooter. I just sent one out just a minute ago with a link to a YouTube video. There's a man downrange during a stage of competition. People are shooting on this stage, and there's a guy walking around back behind the targets. It will scare the heck out of you, okay? Just there you go. So tell you what, a little bit earlier in the week, I was able to have a conversation with Larry Keane from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, kind of set the stage for where we were and where we are. So let me run that right now for you. Here's Larry Keane from the NSSF. All right, no discussion of the last 20 years, the 20 years of GUNTALK, would be complete without talking about the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Of course, the trade association, the industry association for gun makers, gun dealers, people in the trade. And joining me right now to talk about that is Larry Keane, Larry Senior Vice President, Chief Counsel, and Grand Poobah over at NSSF. You got a lot keeping you busy these days, my friend.
There's a lot keeping us busy these days, and there's been a lot keeping us busy over the last 20 years.
Absolutely. Well, 20 years ago, we were, think of 1995. We were just coming out of the Brady Law had just been passed. We had just started the Clinton gun ban, the so-called assault weapons ban. We were under assault, and NSSF was kind of a sleepy little trade organization then. Is that fair to say?
The role of NSSF, certainly in terms of government relations issues and representing the industry and being the voice of the industry, has changed significantly. And the NSSF was started back in the early 60s, really sort of as a captive public relations firm for the industry to promote hunting and target shooting in response to sort of the growth of the animal rights movement. But NSSF's original charter did not allow it to be involved in any sort of political or government relations affairs. When the lawsuits against the industry began with the Hamilton case in front of Judge Weinstein and the other cases that were filed before Judge Weinstein, and then the growth of the attack by the Clinton administration against the industry, the threatened HUD lawsuits, the actual city lawsuits that started getting filed against the industry in late 1998, and then going forward, NSSF changed its charter to allow it to begin to engage in political affairs. NSSF became the coordinating hub of the industry defense to the lawsuits. And NSSF itself was part of was named in many of these lawsuits by the cities.
This was a series of lawsuits that were organized and orchestrated in large measure by the lawyers who had made billions off of suing the tobacco industry. They thought that there was big money to be had in the firearms industry, and that was one side of it. But the other side was the gun ban industry, which I call it. When their idea, and they were very open about it, they said, look, if we can get enough lawsuits filed, the gun industry will not be able to defend themselves against all of these, and we can absolutely crush the entire firearms industry. So their idea was to wipe out the firearms industry.
And the third leg of that stool was, with one exception, Democrat mayors in large urban cities with crime problems. And so they thought, plaintiffs' lawyers to tobacco lawyers thought that this was a small industry that we could steamroll and make money off of,
exactly.
That they won't be able to defend and fight us, particularly when they had the support of large urban mayors and the gun control groups. So it was, pick the pocket of the industry, bankrupt the industry, shut the industry down, and so they would achieve regulation through litigation because they can't pass their gun control agenda. And they would, the mayors got a scapegoat for their crime problems by blaming the industry.
It turned out to be one of the great unintended consequences because they thought, well, the gun industry is very disorganized. They don't work together. There are a lot of smaller companies. But because of the lawsuits, the gun industry came together. NSSF changed, and the gun industry itself became much stronger and more involved. And it was like the exact opposite of what they wanted.
Right. It actually drove the industry together. We got 34, 36 bills passed at the state level, tort reforms to stop these municipal lawsuits. And then ultimately, we were at the same time working on the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, protecting the Second Amendment, because of if just one of those lawsuits had been successful, and the dollars that they were seeking were billions of dollars, it would literally have bankrupted the industry, and it would have been the end of the Second Amendment, because the industry literally would have been just driven out of business by the judgment.
Honestly, I worked a lot with NSSF in those days, as you know, and that's part of the role of GUNTALK through the years, is getting that message out.
Yes, many Sundays we visited.
Yes, we have.
And so we were successful ultimately in getting the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act passed by huge bipartisan margins in both the House and the Senate. It was signed into law by then President Bush, and several more lawsuits were dismissed based on that. And that law is the single most important piece of legislation ever enacted as far as the industry is concerned in protecting the Second Amendment and the future of our industry.
Let me fast forward you to right now. I mean, this morning as we're talking, before we get on the phone, you're still working right now on the ATF's ammo ban. You're working on things that are going on right now today.
Absolutely. I mean, the battle is every day. The particular issue we're focused on a point in time changes. Right now, for the last couple of weeks, we've been dialed in on the effort by ATF to ban the M855 and to their framework proposal, which they have now withdrawn, which would badly have misapplied the sporting purpose test that Congress enacted in 1986.
Right. Well, let me ask you, along those lines, sporting purposes seems like an anachronistic thing now that we have the Heller and the McDonald decision where the Second Amendment does not rest on sporting purpose. It never did. Is there any opportunity or any chance of getting rid of the whole concept of sporting purpose, because that actually flies in the face of the Second Amendment? Well,
you're exactly right. I mean, the Gun Control Act is really originally enacted in 1968, and it's been amended many, many times since then, but it included these, at several spots in the Act, these sort of sporting purpose tests, like for importing rifles, importing shotguns, for ammunition. So yes, the Act was written in the pre-Heller, pre-McDonald mindset that didn't acknowledge what we all understood, and now the Supreme Court has said that the Second Amendment is an individual right, so that the sporting purpose test certainly would appear to be inconsistent with the Second Amendment and the fact that it's a fundamental constitutional right. But it's going to require either litigation, and there are lots and lots of Second Amendment cases going on, or Congress to amend the law. And so that is being looked at now to say, hey, this is really should not be part of the law anymore.
Well, Larry, I want to thank you. I want to thank NSSF. We're taking this ride together for 20 years, man. It's been quite the ride, and I really like the way NSSF has evolved and what you guys are doing now. It's 20 years later, the fight is still on, and I guess that would be the takeaway that I like to give people is this fight will actually never be over. We are always going to have this.
That's correct, and we have to be involved. We have to stand together. If we don't, we're going to be taken apart. The threat is always there. We view, GUNTALK as an important ally in helping us communicate this information to the average gun owner.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate your support and look forward to working with you for maybe another 20 years. Who knows?
At least.
All right. Thank you, Larry Keane from NSSF. Appreciate that. Always a pleasure to talk with Larry and the folks at the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Check out their website, nssf.org. They are on the front lines and lots of good information for you to use in your fight for gun rights. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now GUNTALK presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At shopguntalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Brownells proudly celebrates 75 years of history and heritage as the world's first choice for firearms, accessories, ammunition, and gunsmithing tools. So whether you're a gunsmith in need of parts and supplies, a new shooter looking for the perfect holster, or a skilled competitor seeking the latest gear, Brownells has what you need. And best of all, every purchase comes with the industry's only forever satisfaction guarantee. Visit us at Brownells.com.
Hi, Tom. This is your affiliate manager, Skip Chokel. I've been with Tom for 14 years, signing up radio stations across the country, and it's been a great pleasure. Tom's a great guy to work for. Congratulations, Tom, on your 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow. You guys went way behind my back and recorded all these for me. This is great. I appreciate that. Skip, of course, has been for many years helping us get on stations all around the country. He is the guy kind of behind the scenes doing that. Now, you've heard me tell the story about the, I never named him, the radio consultant who told me after we got started, I asked him, well, what do you think? And he said, kid, you might get 6 weeks. I don't know. You'll never be on the air after about 3 months. Well, that was one radio consultant, but not the one that we're about to have on, because Holland Cooke is a friend of mine, and he is a big-time talk radio consultant. He actually teaches talk radio folks to talk, and he's a media consultant that advises stations and helps people like me. Holland Cooke joins us right now. Hey, how you doing, partner?
Hey, Tom, 20 years in the blink of an eye, it's suddenly the future. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir. I mean, you were there at the beginning. I wish I'd had your help when I got started, because you actually do help people do talk radio, but you have seen the changes in talk radio over the years and understand kind of the importance and how delivering a message has been actually changed through the medium of talk radio. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, in fact, you and I are actually sharing our 20th anniversary because I hung out my shingle January 1, 1995. So you and I both started doing what we've been doing ever since at exactly the same time. And I think what you're doing and what I'm doing have had to be nimble because think back 20 years, there was AM and FM. Now you have iPhone and you got Netflix and all the other ways that people use and choose and manipulate their media. It has never been more important for a show to be relevant. And I think that, unfortunately, in the 20 years since you and I started doing what we're doing, the words talk radio have become a bit of a punchline. And the reason I enjoy your show and a lot of the special shows that you hear on stations like this on the weekend is because you're not just another blowhard who's hollering about Benghazi. You're talking about something that really matters to people, the matter of personal safety. You talk about things that are a parent's concern, how to raise your kids in a way that they understand firearms. And I work with a lot of specialty shows like yours. Stations like this on the weekend will often talk about law and personal finance and auto repair and consumer electronics. And to me, these are the two best days of the week on radio because you're talking about life.
It's the personal stuff. It's the thing, the shows that are important to you. Now, I don't want to let you go, but we got to get this in because you've written this cool booklet. I was just looking at the 32-page booklet called Survival Speech, Critical Communication Skills for the Way Things Are Now. The website is survivalspeech.com. And everybody is trying to be better at communicating and trying to be more effective and more persuasive. And that's kind of the key to what your message is here, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're right when you say everybody. Your particular topic, firearms, has been very misunderstood over the years, and you shine a light of clarity on the issues relating to that. And as you said when you introduced me so graciously, I train people who talk for a living how to talk, but you don't have to be a broadcaster. You don't have to be a radio voice. You don't have to be a professional speaker to need to communicate better. So I put together this booklet, and all your listeners can download it for free at survivalspeech.com. And I think you'll find some helpful tips for the dozens of transactions and conversations that the average person has in the course of a busy day.
You know, I try to tell people, look, the goal when you're talking, or if you're trying to call it a debate, if you will, the goal is not to convince the other person that you are right necessarily. The goal can be a lot of things. It can be getting cooperation. It can be sometimes you're talking to one person, but you're actually, the message is going out to the people who are listening to the conversation. But ultimately, the goal is to be persuasive, is it not?
Well, and we're also bombarded with messages. I've recently seen a piece of research that says in the course of the average day, the average person is bombarded with over 5,000 different messages, and we recognize maybe 200 of them, and we remember 6 of them. And during the course of a busy day, you're constantly transacting with people and in conversation, in commerce. You're getting the wrong change back when you go get a cup of coffee. It's all about cutting through the mental clutter that we swim through because messages are now coming at us from every direction. So, I certainly have been a fan of this show because you're all about clarity. And I've recommended this show to all the stations I work with. But you don't have to be a professional talker to hone your communication skills. So that's why I have this special gift for your listeners at survivalspeech.com.
Well, we appreciate it. I would recommend it. I mean, heck, it's free. Survivalspeech.com. You pick this up. Everybody wants to be better at communicating. It's simple. It's easy. Holland, I got to thank you for all your help that you've helped me through the years, for your friendship and your mentoring, if you will. It's been important.
Yeah, let me join the many voices with thick New England accents welcoming you to the station I have hooked you up with most recently. It is a kick to hear you on WRKO in Boston, where your show has had instant impact. and you're growing quite a following in New England.
How cool is that for Gun Talk to be in not just in Boston, I might add, but this is a monster 50,000-watt blowtorch station that covers a huge area, multi-state area. And you got us on there, my friend.
New Hampshire and Maine and Rhode Island as well. And your show, I can tell you, has had instant impact. It's attracted attention, and I was just thrilled to be able to hook you up with that great radio station.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to working with you on more stations as we go forward. Holland Cooke, thank you very much. Thank you for your friendship. Take care. I gotta talk about something here. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about you guys. And I know it's how it's going to sound. You guys are absolutely the best, the listeners to Gun Talk. The people who call are wonderful. But understand that maybe 1% of the people who listen to a show will ever call the show. I get emails from you. I get stories from you. You come up at the NRA show. By the way, I'm going to be at the NRA show. Be sure to come by the Ruger booth on Saturday. We're going to be doing the show there on Saturday at the NRA show in Nashville. Come by, say hello. You guys are the best. Your questions are the best. You help me out. I learned very early on, you cannot fake this stuff. If you don't know it, just say you don't know it. And somebody will come to your aid. I mean, I remember saying, I'm not really sure what the 9mm Largo is. Guy calls it Tom. I'm surprised you don't know the 9mm Largo was the official handgun cartridge of the Spanish Army from blah, blah, blah. I'm going, who are you guys? You are amazing. Doesn't matter what the subject matter is, you know it. Somebody out there knows it. And ultimately, that's what it's about. It's all of us helping all of us. And so whenever I need help, I just put out the call and you're there. Whether you're looking it up or you know it or that's your area of expertise, it's your collection or whatever it is, you help me out. And all I can do is say thank you. I try not to BS anybody. I certainly try not to fake it. If I don't know it, I just say I don't know it. And I know that help will be coming very soon. And we're all just kind of helping each other, are we not? And I got to thank you. One other thing, the Truth Squad. Came up with this goofy idea of the Truth Squad some years ago, and you have all jumped aboard and said, yes, just show us what hill to take and we will do it. You are great at communicating. You take the information I give you and you do stuff with it. You adopted this no shrug policy that I came up with. We're never going to shrug and just say, oh, that's just the way it is. We're going to answer every misstatement, every lie. We're going to challenge it at every turn. You're great. You're the best. The Gun Talk listeners are simply the best, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future years. Be right back.
Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Welcome back. Unbelievable. Yeah, there's all the different ways, excuse me, that you can get Gun Talk through podcasting, through streaming, through our Gun Talk app. A lot of things going on there. Some things to announce not too long from now. We'll have some news for you. Can't talk about 20 years of Gun Talk and 20 years of change in the firearms industry without bringing in one of my favorite companies and one of my favorite people. Kent Thomas joins us right now from Crimson Trace. Hello, Kent. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Well, I am well. I'm not the only one celebrating 20 years.
Yeah, but you're better looking than we are, so, that counts for something.
Crimson Trace has been around for 20 years, right?
It's true, 21, actually starting in 2015. It was in 1994 when our founder, Lou Danielson, had a crazy idea on, he was and still is obviously a gun nut at the time, and he was running a machine shop in the Pearl District here in Portland, Oregon, and had an idea of something that he thought was revolutionary, or as he likes to say, solving a problem that most people didn't know that they had yet. And here we are 21 years later, and it's been an incredible ride.
Well, I will tell you, in the 20 years, we've seen a lot of things change in the firearms industry, a lot of new guns, and a lot of great guns, and ammunition has improved and all, but I will tell you, probably the biggest change I have seen is the adoption of lasers. And to your point, when you started out, it was a solution to a problem that people didn't know they had. That is a tough sell.
It really is, and it's a remarkable thing that Lou was able to do in the industry. And I none of us can ever say quite enough about Lou. And sort of a shameless plug for him. He at the NRA annual convention here in just less than a month, he's going to be awarded what essentially amounts to a lifetime achievement award from the NRA for his invention and for his idea. And to your point, we really do feel like laser sighting systems have revolutionized personal protection firearms in particular. Of course, they're a lot of fun and they're really great on MSRs and things like that. But for personal protection and where the industry is today on concealed carry, we really do believe that you are not fully equipped until you have a laser sighting system on that personal protection firearm.
You have, and we've actually stolen some of those letters from your files for the First Person Offender Show, but you have file drawers full of letters they start out with, "Your laser saved my life."
Yeah, it's remarkable. We're one of the great things about our company, and the things that I like to talk about the most is our customer service. And we receive about anywhere between 300 and 400 phone calls a week. 300 phone calls a week. I don't know when the last time you called a company to talk to them or to ask them a question or just to share some of your personal stories or history, but it's been decades for me. But we get about 300 of them a week, and in addition to that, we get letters constantly. And as you said, they all start with, your laser saved my life, or something to the effect of 2 or 3 people walked away that night because of your product. And we're very blessed and very fortunate to have a consumer base that is that engaged with us. And what we like the most is well over 70% of the letters that we receive, the laser sighting system was a threat deterrent, and that's the best news of all.
What we're saying is, because of the laser, at least we think, because of the laser, somebody did not have to pull a trigger.
That's right. That's right.
It's okay. My favorite story. All right, favorite story about Crimson Trace.
Yeah.
2 police officers stopped this guy, and I know you probably heard the story a zillion times. I got to share it though. And this thing goes badly, and officer's got his gun on this guy, and he's got the laser on him, and it's kind of a adjunct to the whole laser deal. And the guy gives up. He said, "Well, why did you give up?" I said, "Well, I saw your partner put his fingers in his ears." So, but that's what happens is people see the dot, and it's like this universal language, and they go, "Oh, I get it now. You're actually pointing your gun at me, and I know what happens next." And a lot of lives have been saved by this. And I will say, of course, sometimes you have to shoot. And I want to go to that place for just a second because you've been so good. I want to do a shout out. Your DVDs are excellent. And for those who don't know, they are also free. This is really good instructional videos from Crimson Trace. And when you see it, you go, oh, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. It's that you don't know what you don't know thing. And then you see it and you go, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you, of course. Yes, we have an instructional DVD called The Laser's Edge. There are over 1 million of them out in the marketplace now, and every single one of them are in the homes of consumers because they either called or emailed and asked for it. We do not push them on anyone, but they are free, and they're about 45 minutes long, and it certainly covers personal protection and how a laser can be a threat deterrent. But the vast majority of the DVD is really about how it can make you a more accurate shooter, how it can make you a more confident shooter. It helps explain sight picture and trigger control, how to train with a laser without using so much ammunition. We're really proud of it, and it means a lot that you think so much of it as well.
Well, I appreciate that. That number, if you want to call and get that, is 800-442-2406. The other thing you did is you created this incredible program called Lasers for Life, or Batteries for Life. When you get a Crimson Trace laser, the laser grip, you get batteries for life, so you'll never run out of batteries. You replace your batteries once a year, and that's just an amazing program. And yes, I know people say, well, they're promoting. Yeah, they are, but at the same time, they're also making sure, you guys are making sure that people's lasers work when they need them. Because when you need it more than anything in the world.
Absolutely. One of the common misconceptions about laser sighting systems is that the batteries drain so quickly, and when you go to use it when you need it the most, that it's not going to be there. And it's a big misconception that the batteries on our lasers, especially the red laser versions, last well over 4 years. And so we created, to help alleviate this problem or this misconception, we created the free Batteries for Life program. So when you purchase a laser from us, when you go to warranty it or register it with us, we put you in the database. And all you have to do is call us every year on the anniversary of your purchase, and we will send you a new set of batteries, even though you don't need them. And we're happy to do that. It's a great way to sort of keep an extra stash of batteries in case you need them, and it's a very simple program, and it's easy to accomplish, and we're happy to do it.
Well, Ken, I wanted to have you on because really a couple of things. One is, first of all, it's a great company with great people in it. I love working with you guys on all our different projects. You make a wonderful product, and I think that over the last 20 years, the adoption of lasers for self-defense is huge, and it's going to continue, and people need to be looking at that. And frankly, I just wanted to kind of have you guys get a shout out because you do such good work, and I'm such a believer in your product and in the company.
Well, thank you. We're honored to be a part of your anniversary and what you do, and thank you so very much.
Absolutely. Kent Thomas, Crimson Trace, 21 years now for these guys. All right, thank you, sir. All right, we'll be right back. I'm going to be talking to an old friend, a good friend, and a guy that has an interesting take, maybe a little bit different take on the firearms industry. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Batagroup. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
Hey Tom, Jim Kenzie here. So proud and honored to have been a part of your 20 years on air. Keep it up, buddy. Congratulations.
Jim, of course, being the producer of Gun Talk Radio. If you listen to the after show at all, you know Jim and the rest of the crew there. I've got the best crew in the world. These guys and gals are terrific. The ones in the office here, the ones in the studio, all the things we put together. Sarah, Sandra, Ryan, Jason, Jake. We're hiring more people. Jim, Michelle, I got Michael. It just goes on and on. Jasmine, who comes in and helps us out, keeps Jim straight now and then, his daughter. And they're shooters. That's the thing. They're shooters. If they're not shooters when they start with us, they become shooters, and that's been part of the fun. There are some people that you know for many, many years, for decades, and they're your friends, and other people you meet and you haven't known them that long, but they become instant friends as though they are old friends. Jim Shepard is in that latter category. He is the creator of the Shooting Wire, the Outdoor Wire, the Tactical Wire online newsletters that you should be subscribing to. That's your news source. And I rip him off. He rips me off. It's all good because Jim's just a very good friend. And he joins us right now. How are you, my friend?
I am fine, and happy anniversary. I'm honored to be in the crowd, honestly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Like I say, there are some people and it's rare. It happens only a few times in your life. You meet somebody, you go, this is a good friend who will stand by me for thick and thin, and you're one of those guys. And I just appreciate, and we were able to do some fun stuff together. We've done some TV together. We've done some other projects. We actually, worked on a big project over at Brownells. It's been a hoot.
Fun than most people.
Well, our whole attitude is if it's not fun, we're not going to do it, man.
In our times, that's for sure.
Yes, we have. Well, let me ask you. You're a media guy. You were one of the very first employees at CNN. You've been vice president at NBC, and you've done all this stuff. And when you look at the last couple of decades in terms of media coverage of the guns and gun rights, and also kind of how it is all evolved, I think that my take is that the firearms industry and the fight for gun rights has matured over that time.
I would absolutely say that. And I was looking just before we got on the air at 20 years ago at how some of the things had changed. This time 20 years ago, we were pretty much reeling in shock from a lot of different things. The O.J. Simpson trial was underway. About a month from now, the Oklahoma City bombing and all the other things, and the whole world has changed pretty radically in 20 years. But the gun coverage has changed almost entirely. Back then, I guess I can say candidly, I really wasn't part of the pro-gun movement. I was supposed to be part of the play it down the middle movement and didn't realize how far off the middle we were. Now it looks like it's coming to the middle because people are afraid not to be at the middle. They try to be accurate, and part of that I'm going to give you credit for with the Truth Squad. No lie unchallenged has made a difference. One thing that appeals to media people is the fear of being made to look stupid.
That is interesting, and I pointed that out. I said, look, nobody wants to be embarrassed, even reporters. And when you have the facts and you go to them and say, look...
Especially reporters.
Especially reporters. That's right, because they do have egos just a bit. When you say, look, I know you may not be aware of this, and you can point it out without saying, hey, you're stupid. Just say, no, you made a mistake here. And, sometimes you can win that way. It's about getting the message to them. It's about messaging. It's about not saying, gee, that's just the way it is. It's standing up and doing it. Jim, I'm going to get you, hold on. I got to carry you through this break so we can, I'm going to get you to close out the final hour with me here. I want to direct people to the websites to check out, and correct me, Jim, it's theshootingwire.com?
It's just Shooting Wire, no the.
Shooting Wire, not the. I always get it wrong. It's shootingwire.com, and then for Outdoor Wire?
Yep.
OutdoorWire.com.
Yeah, we have a treat for you. Hang on. We'll share that.
Okay, good deal. All right, we'll do that. All right, don't go anywhere. We're talking with Jim Shepard from Shooting Wire. Just go to shootingwire.com. Sign up. You'll get a regular email alert. It's basically news from the firearms industry. He does a great job with it. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. 20 years. Who knew?
because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
All right, we're talking with Jim Shepard from the Shooting Wire, the Outdoor Wire, the Tactical Wire, every other kind of wire you can come up with. Jim is a journalist, entrepreneur, and a real gun guy now. Jim, if you were to talk to somebody and say, okay, this is what's important for you in terms of getting the message out or trying to affect politics, gun rights, being involved, what would your message be if you just take somebody aside for a couple of minutes?
My message would be pretty simple. It would be, when you say people who own guns are bad, do you realize you're talking about me? Probably talking about people who live on either side of you and across the street, the people who drive your kids to school, that teach your kids. You're talking about everyday people, and you're talking about something you really aren't informed about. So let me tell you something. And then I would open the conversation with them to point out the fact that owning a gun isn't any different than owning a hammer. It doesn't make you a bad person. Of course, a hammer doesn't make you a carpenter either, so it doesn't make you a good shooter. But you can own it and still be a
You're talking about personalizing it. Yeah, let them know the person that, rather than demon. If they can demonize you, they can do what they want. If you personalize it, say, "I'm your doctor, I'm your lawyer, I'm the person who works on your car. I'm the people we're gun owners out there." I just want to tell people they really do need to get.
Why are you against? What did I do to you to make you hate me?
Yeah, because there is that. There's a lot of hate, not just for guns, but for gun owners entirely. All right, tell people how they can get on board and get your newsletters.
Well, to get the Outdoor Wire, the easy way is to go to theoutdoorwire.com and click subscribe. Shooting Wire is the same way. Now, I promised to share something with you. I want to share a smile story with you real quickly before we go away.
Okay.
I got a call this morning from the West Coast, and I confirmed. Remember Jay Leno canceling on the National Shooting Sports Foundation's State of the Industry dinner?
Yep.
Well, everybody was pretty offended at that. Well, they didn't let it go. I didn't realize that the NSSF had talked about the possibility of damages. I found out today, and it'll be in the Wire tomorrow, that a couple of weeks ago they reached a settlement with Leno. He didn't pay them damages, but he made a pretty significant donation to the Operation Child Safe.
Oh, excellent. That is a good smiley to end up on. Thanks for passing that along. And the people, if you get the Shooting Wire tomorrow, that will be in there. Jim Shepard, thank you, my friend. It is a pleasure to know you and to call you my close, good friend. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here. All righty. 20 years. Who'd have thunk it? We had Charlton Heston on. Sarah Brady was a no-show. We got listed as one of the 100 most influential, best talk shows in America, even though we don't know what we're doing here. We're still just having fun. You guys have made it happen. I want to thank you for that. We've been able to get a message of gun safety out there. The radio show spun off a TV show called GUNTALK, and then Guns and Gear Television, and then First Person Defender Television. Just all of these things have happened because you have been here with me. It's been a wild, crazy ride. I have absolutely no intention of stopping. This is way too much fun. We have a whole lot of other things to talk about. In the meantime, be sure to shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Check out Twitter. I'm at GunTalk over there. Get on board on that one. Be a part of it. Check out our Facebook page. It's huge now. Look for GunTalk Media over on Facebook. In the meantime, do some shooting. Rededicate yourself to being on the Truth Squad. Remember, no lie left unchallenged. In the meantime, just be a good person. Invite people to go shooting with you. Smile a lot and love your family. We'll see you next week.